What is up guys, my name is Chase and it has been some time since the rapture of the Nintendo Wii U and 3DS eShops. And just like most people, I was scrambling to get everything from the eShop that I wanted. So today I thought I would share with you guys my entire Nintendo 3DS digital collection in 2023. So first things first, I am a huge fan of the themes that they had for the Nintendo 3DS systems. It felt like they were frequently updating the theme shop for the 3DS. The one that I am currently rocking is this like wooden Super Mario Bros. One. I really like this theme. I believe this is the first theme that I bought on my 3DS and I just kept it on ever since. But anyway, let's see what we actually have on my 3DS right now. I'm not gonna lie, I am not very good at organizing on my Nintendo systems. I basically have 3 folders here. One is for all of like my eShop games, one is for all of my virtual console games, and I also have a folder that is just filled with demos that I've downloaded for free. So let's take a look at some of the games that we have on my 3DS. First off, we have Nintendo Badge Arcade, which is this really interesting arcadey type of game. Basically, you play a bunch of these simple games, you know, like a crane game or something, and you try to get badges that you can actually put on your 3DS home screen. I don't know, I thought that's really interesting. Like, it gives you an extra way to customize your 3DS. Personally, I didn't get too much into like customizing my 3DS home screen here, but I mean, there were a bunch of different badges that you could get. I imagine it was probably good for people who actually have some creativity and imagination. Couldn't be me. Next up here, we have The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. I originally bought this game digitally because I think there was a sale going on. However, I did recently get a physical copy of this game, so we have the best of both worlds now. But I really enjoyed A Link Between Worlds, especially because I recently played the Minish Cap and now Tears of the Kingdom. Playing both 2D and 3D Zelda games, I think I have a newfound appreciation for the 2D Zelda games. It's definitely like a different way to experience The Legend of Zelda, and I think there's a lot of variety to be found in these 2D Zelda games like A Link Between Worlds. Next up, we have Mini Mario and Friends Amiibo Challenge. Not gonna lie, I don't think I even played this once, but from what I remember, this is like one of the Mario vs. Donkey Kong games. However, if you scan in an amiibo, you can unlock a character that has special abilities for certain stages. I mean, I don't know, I guess it's interesting. I remember this game came out during a time when Nintendo was really trying to sell amiibo, so they needed to make software that actually, you know, made use of amiibo. And speaking of which, we have Mario and Donkey Kong minis on the move. This is a very interesting Mario versus / and Donkey Kong game. Obviously, the title has changed from versus to and, but also the gameplay in this game is very different and unique. Rather than the old Mario vs. Donkey Kong gameplay where you're like trying to navigate the mini Marios through this level, now it's more of a top-down view, and you have these pieces that you have to unlock and put in place. I thought it was really interesting. It's definitely a cool spin on this like Lemmings type of gameplay. I will say that it also definitely adds a level of stress that I was not prepared for. Next up, we have Pokemon Rumble World and Pokemon Shuffle. I'm just gonna group these 2 games together because if you guys know me, I don't know anything about Pokemans. I believe I downloaded both of these games just because they were free on the Nintendo 3DS eShop. So it's nice to have these downloaded on my 3DS. I know for a fact I have not even played Pokemon Rumble World yet, but this game was released along with the little Pokemon Rumble NFC figures. So I don't know, who knows if this game is good, not me. Pokemon Shuffle, on the other hand, I tried it a little bit and I had like kind of fun with Pokemon Shuffle. It's one of these puzzle games, you know, I would say more similar to like Dr. Mario, where you're just trying to match different Pokemon together. Anyway, next up we have Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix. This is a very lovely 3DS game. I absolutely love the Rhythm Heaven series, and Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix basically takes a bunch of the classic Rhythm Heaven games and just squishes them together. There's actually a bit of a story to this game, which is very interesting. I also thought it's interesting because I remember this game came out during a time when Nintendo was releasing a lot of just like collection type of games. For example, there was Mario Party, the Top 100, which had 100 classic Mario Party minigames. There was also WarioWare Gold, which I also believe was basically the same thing, just a bunch of the classic WarioWare micro games. So I thought it was interesting that we also got Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix, which is also like the same idea. I would absolutely love to see a brand new Rhythm Heaven game, you know, with completely new mini games in there. Please, Nintendo. Next Next up, we have Team Kirby Clash Deluxe. This is another game that I just downloaded on my 3DS because it was free, but if I'm not mistaken, this is a Kirby game where you have to battle certain enemies. I believe this is the game with the hub world where you get like different missions to complete and whatnot. So I don't know, for a free Kirby game, it's like cool to have, I guess. Next up, we have Harmonite. And if it isn't obvious, I absolutely love rhythm games, so Harmonite is just a very, very fun game for me. It's a rhythm-based 2D side-scroller, very similar to the Bit Trip Runner series, so I absolutely fell in love with this game. I am such a sucker for rhythm games. But anyway, next up we have Mutant Mudds. This was a very interesting game when it first came out. It plays a lot with like the 3D aspect of the 3DS, very similar to Wario Land on the Virtual Boy. You can hop back and forth between the foreground and the background, which becomes even more effective with the 3D effect on the 3DS. I thought it was interesting that they later went on to release the Mutant Mudds games on the Wii U and now the Switch. I always thought the point of this game was to play it on the 3DS with the 3D effect. So I guess technically if you want to play the definitive version of Mutant Mudds, like the 3DS offers a unique experience that you can't get on the Wii U or the Switch. Next up we have Stretchmo. I believe this is just the free version of this game. I think Stretchmo was one of these games where it's free to start and then it gives you the option to buy more levels. I think the whole Pushmo series is very interesting. I think it's definitely a unique type of puzzle game that really forces you to use your brain in different ways. However, I have to admit that I am not good with the Pushmo games. Like once the levels start to get even a little bit difficult, my brain just absolutely dies. So I'm not gonna lie, I have yet to finish any of the Pushmo games, but I do definitely at least respect the concept of it. Next up, we have Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Dual Destinies and Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice. These were some of the last games I picked up on the 3DS eShop before it closed, because right before the closure of the 3DS eShop, Capcom was running this huge sale on all of their 3DS games. So I believe the Phoenix Wright games were going for like $2 or $3. So of course I had to pick up those games. From what I've read online, Spirit of Justice and Dual Destinies are like the two top Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney games on the 3DS. I got really into Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney back in the day. I remember they released a mobile version of the original game, so I was playing that game a lot on my iPhone. You know, obviously the characters are all funny, like I think it's an interesting little like RPG / detective style game. So I'm actually really looking forward to playing these games. I hear especially Spirit of Justice is a really good Phoenix Wright game. Next up we have 3D Classics Urban Champion. This is another one of these games where I just wanted to get it on my 3DS for posterity. From what I hear, Urban Champion is just not a very good NES game, so it was very funny and interesting that they brought this into the 3D Classics line. And that's all the time that we're gonna talk about Urban Champion. Next up, we have Box Boy. This is a really interesting 2D puzzle platformer from the Kirby devs. In case you haven't played any of the Box Boy games before, you play as a box and you can spawn other boxes. And so you have to like spawn these boxes in a certain way in order to get through some of the levels. It's a really interesting type of puzzle game, and I believe there's also an entry on the Switch, so if you want to check it out on the Switch, then you can do that too. Next up, we have Rusty's Real Deal Baseball. This is a weird game. So if I'm not mistaken, the general concept of this game is that you can purchase these mini games within this game. However, you can actually haggle with the owner in order to get the price lower. And we're talking real money, so you can actually like get a better deal on these games depending on how much you talk to Rusty. It's such a weird idea and a weird concept. I remember first seeing this trailer back in like 2013, and it was just so weird and just, I don't know, it's a weird thing. And I believe this would have been around the time when Nintendo was first getting into downloadable content. So of course Nintendo has to gamify paid DLC, and I respect them for it. And lastly, we have 3D Classics Xevious. This is another game in the 3D Classics line. I don't really have much to say. It's a top-down shooter. Yeah, I don't know. But those are all of the games that I have in my little games folder. So next up, how about we look through my virtual console folder? And I believe this folder should be pretty large, because first off, we have my Nintendo 3DS Ambassador Certificate. Not gonna lie, I love having this on my 3DS. I think it's like a fun little way for me to flex. And I believe if you open it, it's just like a video file. Yeah, it's just a 3-minute 2-minute video file that just shows that you have this ambassador certificate. So basically, when the 3DS first came out back in 2011, the sales were very poor because the price was so high. So Nintendo decided to slash the price of the 3DS, and they said that if you bought the 3DS when the prices were still high, they'll give you this ambassador certificate, and it will allow you to download a bunch of free virtual console games. So we'll just quickly go through all these virtual console games because there are like a bunch of them. Well, first off, I guess I put these in the wrong folder. We also have 3D Classics Excite Bike and 3D Classics Kirby Adventure. So first off, we have Fire Emblem The Sacred Stones, The Legend of Zelda, Zelda 2 The Adventure of Link, The Legend of Zelda The Minish Cap, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX, Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Kart, Metroid, WarioWare Inc. Mega Micro Games, Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, Super Mario Land, Kirby's Dream Land, NES Open Tournament Golf, Wrecking Crew, Donkey Kong Jr., Wario Land 4, F-Zero Maximum Velocity, Mario Kart Super Circuit, Yoshi, Ice Climber, Metroid Fusion, Balloon Fight, and Yoshi's Island Super Mario Advance 3. So the 3DS Ambassador program was very interesting, if anything, just because of how much Nintendo offered. It's very unlike Nintendo to give us this much stuff. So I guess sometimes it does actually pay off to be a shill for Nintendo. So next up, let's look through my folder of demos that I have on my 3DS. We have the Captain Toad Treasure Tracker demo, the Kirby Battle Royale demo, Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn demo. This is the Mario Party Star Rush guest software, which basically allowed you to do like, you know, the classic DS download. So that was kind of cool to have. We have the WarioWare Gold demo, Detective Pikachu special demo version, and the Hey Pikmin demo. I don't know, I thought it would just be fun to sort of archive these demos on my 3DS. And because the 3DS demos only allow you to play the software a certain amount of times, I don't even know if I will ever get around to actually playing these demos. But those are all of like the games that I have on my Nintendo 3DS. I do also have this last folder here. It's not even named, I just named it 4. But there are some stuff in here, just some random like little miscellaneous software that was on the 3DS eShop. We have SwapNote, which is kind of similar to the classic Nintendo DS PictoChat. Basically, it allowed you to send hand-drawn notes to other people. We have SwapDoodle, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm completely blanking on what the point of SwapDoodle was. I imagine it's probably the same sort of basic concept as SwapNote. We have Flipnote Studio 3D, which was a really interesting like creativity app. It allowed you to make drawings and animations in actual 3D, which was like really interesting. And then finally we have Photos with Mario, which just as it sounds allows you to take pictures with your boy Mario. But that is finally everything that is on my Nintendo 3DS. I believe I got everything that I wanted from the eShop now that it's closed. For the most part, I like to play virtual console games on actual home systems. So I have a lot more virtual console on like my Wii U and, you know, obviously the Nintendo Switch Online apps. And I'm also such a sucker for physical games, so I usually buy my 3DS games physical anyway. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys have downloaded on your Nintendo 3DS system? If you want to see my entire physical Nintendo 3DS collection, feel free to check it out below. For now, thank you so much for watching. My name is Chase, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye.